Joint stock company. A company is an association of persons formed for carrying out business activities and has a legal status independent of its members. It is set up by registration addition under the Companies Act 2013, 2013 or any previous company law. Features of joint stock company. Artificial person. Such a company is created by law. It is an artificial person having no body, no soul, no conscience. But like a natural person, a company can own property, incur debts, borrow money, sue or can be sued, enter into contracts. It can conduct a lawful business. Separate legal entity. A company requires a separate legal existence in eyes of law. The formation of company is time-consuming, expensive and complicated process. It involves preparation of several documents and compliance with several legal requirements before it can start functioning. Registration of a company is compulsory under the Indian Companies Act 2013. A company has a permanent or perpetual existence. It is not affected by death, insolvency, coming and going of members. It can be brought to an end only by law, as it is creation of law. Control, the ownership and management are in two different ends: shareholders and directors. Shareholders are the owners, but company is managed by its board of directors, which appoints the top management officials
for running the business.
Shareholders do not have the right to be involved in day-to-day activities of business. Directors are the legal representatives. Directors are the elected or appointed individuals responsible for managing the business affairs and running operations of a joint stock company. The liability of the members are limited to the extent of capital contributed by them in a company if in case the company incurs huge liabilities. Then the shareholder can be asked to contribute the unpaid balance of their shares. Common seal. A common seal is an official metal stamp that acts as the binding legal signature of a company. Any document on which common seal is affixed and is duly signed by authorized official becomes binding on the company. A company may or may not have common seal. If a company has a common seal, it must be affixed to the documents such as agreements of company. If a company does not have a common seal, then the person signing the documents should be authorized by board's resolutions. Risk bearing, the risk of losses is borne by all shareholders.
In a joint stock company, financial risk is shared collectively by all shareholders, limited strictly to the face value of the shares they own. No personal assets are harmed. Transfer of shares. The shareholders enjoy a right to transfer their shares to other persons in a market. Transfer of shares in a joint stock company means the free or restricted exchange of ownership units from one person to another.
Advantages of a joint stock company. The liability of shareholders is limited. The shareholders of a public company are freely transferable to other people in a market. A joint stock company enjoys continuity of life for a long period of time. It is not affected by death, insolvency, etc.
Scope of expansion. A company has large financial resources. Capital can be attracted from public,
as well as through loans of bank and financial institutions. The investors are inclined to invest in shares because of limited liability. The transferable ownership and possibility of high returns create great scope for expansion of a joint stock company. Ownership is separated from control. Shareholders elect a board of directors who hire skilled, professional executives to run daily operations efficiently, optimizing productivity.
Disadvantages of joint stock company. Its formation is complex and time-taking process. Lack of secrecy.
Because companies are heavily regulated, they are legally required to publicly disclose financial statements and operational details.
The separation of ownership and management.
Shareholders own the business, but a board of directors and hired professionals run day-to-day operations.
Numerous regulations govern the functioning of a company. It is subject to a large number of legal formalities. The company is burdened with several restrictions.
With respect to audit voting, filling of reports, documents, and obtaining certificates from various agencies, all this process is time-consuming, expensive, and reduces the freedom of operations.
Delay in decision-making. Decision-taking is a time-consuming process. All important decisions are either taken by board of directors.
It causes not only delay in decision but also acting upon them. Many opportunities are lost because of delay in decision-making.
Oligarchic management in a joint stock company means a small group of people takes full control.
This leads to power abuse, ignored minority shareholders, and selfish decisions that harm the company and general investors.
Conflict of interest in a joint stock company occurs when different groups such as management, shareholders, employees, and creditors have clashing goals.
Types of companies. There are 3 types of companies: one-person company, private company, public company. Types of companies. There are 3 types of companies: one-person company, private company, public company. A one-person company is a corporate business structure. It is defined under Section 26 Act 2013. It features limited liability and a separate identity.
OBC is introduced for corporatization of micro-business and entrepreneurship. In India, in the year 2005, J.J. Irani Expert Committee recommended the formation of OPC. OPC avails all the benefits of private limited company, such as separate legal entity protecting personal assets from business liability. Features of one-person company. Single-member ownership. An OPC is a private company formed by exactly one person. Only a natural person who is an Indian citizen and resident can incorporate an OPC.
Perpetual succession. The company keeps running through the nominee even if the main owner passes away.
Limited liability. The owner's personal belongings stay safe because risk is limited to the money invested in the company. Separate legal entity. The Demerits. The business stands apart from its owner, allowing it to own property and sign contracts in its own name. Mandatory nominee. During registration, the single member must appoint a nominee. If the owner passes away or becomes incapacitated, this nominee takes over the company.
Restricted capital and fundraising. Because it is essentially a privately owned business, an OPC is not permitted to issue shares to the general public or raise funds publicly.
A private company is a business entity with a minimum of 2 members and a maximum of 200. It restricts share transfers, prohibits public invitations to subscribe for shares, and mandates the use of private limited at the end of its name. The key characteristics for membership require a minimum of 2 members, with a strict maximum limit of 200. Restricted share transfer. Shareholders cannot freely transfer their shares to outsiders, which helps founders retain ownership and management control. No public subscription. It cannot issue a prospectus to invite the general public to buy its shares or debentures. Fewer formalities. It requires a lower minimum paid-up capital and is subject to fewer legal compliances.
must have at least 2 directors.
A private company is a business entity with a minimum of 2 members and a maximum of 200. It restricts share transfers, prohibits public invitations to subscribe for shares, and mandates the use of private limited at the end of its name. The key characteristics for membership require a minimum of 2 members, with a strict maximum limit of 200.
Restricted share transfer. Shareholders cannot freely transfer their shares to outsiders,
which helps founders retain ownership and management control. No public subscription. It cannot issue a prospectus to invite the general public to buy its shares or debentures. Fewer formalities. It requires a lower minimum paid-up capital and is subject to fewer legal compliances. Must have at least 2 directors. A public company or public limited company is a business entity that is permitted to sell its shares to the general public to raise capital. It is not a private company. There is no maximum limit on its shareholders, and its shares are freely transferable on a recognized stock exchange.
Key features. Minimum members. Requires at least 7 members and no maximum limit.
Public invitation. Unlike private companies, it can invite the general public to subscribe to its shares or debentures through the issuance of a prospectus.
Naming. It must use the word limited at the end of its name. For example, Reliance Industries Limited. Members' liability is limited to the unpaid value of their shares.
The choice of a form of business organization depends on key factors like capital requirements, liability, and managerial needs.
Selecting the right structure requires matching the pros and cons of sole proprietorships, partnerships, and companies to your specific business goals. Factors determining choice of organization. Cost and ease of formation. Sole proprietorships are cheapest and easiest. Companies require expensive legal procedures.
High costs and heavy paperwork. Small businesses needing little money can operate as sole proprietorships. Large-scale operations needing massive funds must choose a joint stock company.
Liability. Sole proprietorships and partnerships carry unlimited personal liability. Companies offer limited liability, protecting the personal assets of the owners.
Continuity. Sole proprietorships and partnerships lack stability. Death or insolvency can end the business. Companies have perpetual succession. They continue regardless of membership changes.
Managerial control. If you want absolute control and quick decision-making, sole proprietorship is ideal. If you need professional managers, a company structure works best.